Welcome back to the Fight Pit, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are here for the UFC 301 Pantoja versus Erceg breakdown and predictions. Intro music. We back, folks. It is your boys in the Fight Pit. I am Drew. I am here with 12 Gaugemus Maximus, and the current king of Rio, Mr. Bad Beats himself, Shaun of the Dead. Thank you guys for joining. We are always so happy to have you guys with us. This is honestly, it's the best part of my week. I can't speak for everybody, but when we go too long between these episodes, I get real serious separation anxiety. So it's great to be back with you guys. Before we get started on our episode, I have to let you know about our sponsor for today's episode, Pillow Fight. You know the drill, man. Sleep, it's a third of your life. It is so important. If you're not getting good sleep, everything else just spirals out of control, just down the drain. Make sure you take your sleep seriously. Pillow Fight is here to help you do that. They are blissfully soft and shockingly supportive. Their commitment to premium foams and fibers provides superior comfort, all while being soft enough to cradle you to sleep. It is worth every penny. Make sure you invest in your rest. They don't skimp on the details. Neither should you. Their innovative sleep designs and detailed craftsmanship means that their pillows improve your sleep, which is always a good thing. We all need better sleep. And they are obsessed with making a difference. Every purchase from Pillow Fight allows them to donate pillows where they are needed most. So go to pillowfight.co to purchase or to find out more. Thank you, as always, to Pillow Fight for keeping us going. Now, UFC 301. Not gonna lie, this one is one of those title fights that we have a tough time justifying. Hopefully we can make this make some sense. We've got a few fights on this. We're gonna do the whole card, but we got a few fights on this one that are gonna be covered by Matt Talks MMA on Instagram. So any of those fights that Matt is covering on this one, he is going to be posting exclusively on our Instagram page, on his Instagram page. So make sure you are following the official Fight Pit, Matt Talks MMA, to get the full picks from our boy Matty. Starting it off though, we have 125ers. I'm going to kick it off with Alessandro Costa and Kevin Borjas. Alessandro Costa is 13-4. He's got 4 KOs, 6 subs, and 3 decision wins. Going up against Kevin Borjas, 9-2, 8 KOs, and 1 decision win. Alessandro Costa is coming off a decision loss to Steve Erceg, who is fighting for the title on this card. He's 3-2 in his last 5. Going up against Borjas, who is coming off a decision loss to Joshua Van. He's 4-1 in his last 5. We got a nice mix on this one. It's going to be, honestly, with this one, with the 125ers, it's hard for me to go a finish, even though these guys do have a lot of finishes. Kevin Borjas has 8 KOs and 1 submission, so he is no stranger to a finish. This one, I am going to go under. I'm going to take under 2.5. I think they're gonna light this one up. They're going to start the card off with a finish. I'm going to go with Kevin Borjas. He's a plus 120 to open, and he is justifiably the underdog on this one. But I think that his pressure, I think that him gunning for the KO, I think he's going to overwhelm Costa. I think we're going to open it up with an underdog win. So I'm going with Kevin Borjas by KO under 2.5. So moving right along, the next one, you're going to have to tune in to the Instagram. Make sure you're following the Instagram official Fight Pit. Matt will let you know all about Ismael Bonfim versus Vince Pichel. I just want to throw out there that Vince Pichel at a plus 350. I'm definitely sprinkling on that one. Sean, do you have anything to add about the Bonfim Pichel before we move on?
No, not really. I didn't do the homework on this.
It's long odds on this one. It's going to be a good fight, though. Bonfim is no joke. At all. Next up, we got the women's 125. We have Dion Barbosa versus Ernesta Caracate. There's some tough names on this one. Apologies. Yep. Did I get anywhere close to that one?
Oh, I can't pronounce that last name. So
well, Sean,
the wrong illiterate people out here, Drew.
Yeah.
I think that we do pretty damn good most of the time, but this card in particular this one's going to be a test for us. This one's going to be a test. Sean, do your best, man. Let us know. What can we look forward to on Barbosa versus Ernesta?
Both of them just came off the Dana White Contender Series. Both a win there. Barbosa is 6-2, 3 subs, 3 decisions, 3-fight winning streak. Obviously going to be the UFC debut. Ernesta 5-0-1, 2 KOs, 3 decisions. Last fight, Dana White Contender Series, UFC debut. 3 straight split decisions. Definitely, I am favoring Barbosa on this because the ground game with the submissions and Ernesta, what I have seen is it has to be more standing. She can get up from being on the ground. She's been taken down. She could get up, but you can definitely point fight her to a win. There's a reason she's 5-0-1 and still the underdog is because she hasn't faced this level. Even though they're both UFC debut, I still think that Barbosa is a different level than anyone she has fought at this point. And I think Barbosa will either get a late submission or she'll point her down for a 30-27.
Okay. Are these aren't ranked? Neither of these are ranked, are they?
They're UFC debuts. That's
okay.
Yeah, both right off Dana White Contender Series.
Beautiful. I like that. Next one up, we got 155ers. We're going to go to Gage on this one for Mauricio Murray versus Jamie Malarkey. Jamie Malarkey, we are familiar with that name. Gage, let us know how this one's going to go, brother.
Oddly enough, I was also the person to review his last fight, and was unfortunately for Jamie on the right side of that, on that prediction about him running into a brick wall and Nasrat Haqparast, who was an absolute brick wall to Jamie Malarkey that night. But looking to his fight at 301, he's been up and down the last few years. Win a fight, lose a fight, win a fight, lose a fight. So theoretically, he's due. He's due for this win. But Mauricio is a knockout artist, a TKO artist. He's live and die by it. His one loss is by TKO. And all but one of his wins are from knockouts or TKOs. So why would I go against a guy who's a knockout artist going against a dude who just got flatlined by Nasrat in his last fight? Jamie Malarkey didn't look comfortable on his feet. He didn't look right at all. And got to go with the Brazilian on the card in Rio. I'm going to go under 1.5 Mauricio Rufy by knockout.
I double down on that.
I like that. That's never a bad idea to take Brazilians in Brazil. Absolutely. And that one you said is under 1.5?
Oh yeah, 100% under 1.5. Jamie got flatlined in 1:44 against Nasrat, and I think it's going to be shades of the same thing.
He gets hit a lot. His chin is so touchable.
And Mauricio really has all his fights just by punches, by knockout, by technical knockout, by TKO. It's legit, as funny as this is, it's in the cards. It's literally in the cards.
Yep.
Right.
To not go to the cards.
That exactly. And poor Jamie Malarkey, man. He's credit to him. He's still kicking, and he's going up against some buzzsaws, man. But this one, it's another tough outing for Jamie Malarkey. Next up, we're staying with the 155 division. We have Joaquim Silva versus Drakkar Klose. And on this one is another interesting one. These guys are both coming in off wins. We have Joaquim Silva opening at plus 160. He's 13-4 against Drakkar Klose, who, even though his record is 14-2-1, I feel like he's been around so much longer than that. Joaquim Silva has 7 KOs, 3 submissions, 3 decision wins. He's coming in off of a decision win over Clay Guida, which is never a bad win. Always a nice name to have on your record. But Clay Guida, he's been around quite a while himself. Joaquim Silva's 2-3 in his last 5. Drakkar Klose, 14-2-1. He's got 6 KO wins, no submission wins, which I found surprising. 8 decision wins, coming off of a KO slam win over Joe Selecki. 4-1 in his last 5. Drakkar Klose is one of those guys that we've seen him in there against some of the best in the world. We've seen him on the winning end and the losing end of some of the craziest fights. Not a year goes by that somebody doesn't play the Beneil Dariush knockout with his mouthpiece flying, and he's one of those dudes that you can never really count out. I had him as a top prospect, years ago, and he's been rocky since then, but I feel like he's found his footing. He's doing what we expected him to do early on. He opened at a minus 190. I'm not sure what the odds are on this one, but I think this one, with Joaquim Silva with 7 KOs, these guys, I don't see a whole lot of grappling on this one. I think there will be some mixed in here and there, but I think this one is going to remain mostly on the feet. And I think it's going to be just whoever can get the best of the striking first, whoever can land something first, whoever can land the more shots, the harder shots more often. I'm going to go with the favorite on this one. I'm going to go with Drakkar Klose. I'm going to go by knockout. I feel like that's what he's going to be gunning for. And I think that if it ends up going to the cards, I think that it will be tough. It will be tough for him to out-edge Joaquim Silva, because Joaquim Silva is no slouch. But I'm gonna go with the favorite on this one. I'm gonna go with Drakkar Klose. I'm gonna go under 2.5. Any rebuttals? Anything to add?
Only other thing, it could possibly go to decision, but that's it basically. I agree with you though, close on this one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Both of those guys are tough. Both of these guys do work. They're not born fighters at all from what I've seen. But Drakkar Klose, I feel like he's putting it together. I think it's going to be his time on this one. That's all for the early prelims. We are starting off the prelim card with Gene Silva versus William Gomez. This one at 145 is another one that you guys will have to tune in to Matt_Talks MMA and the official Fight Pit on Instagram. He has fantastic breakdowns. He's got a great record. We all are still just cruising so far with 2024 with our picks, and especially our bet picks. Our bet picks, we are cashing at least
70%.
Yeah, 70%. I think we just, with the last one, just pushed over a little over 70%, and Sean and Gage specifically were 10-3 on the UFC 300 card. They are killing it these last couple cards. We all are above 60%.
Yeah,
I will.
Good enough to get you to your last leg, but not good enough to get you all the way there.
Right. Story of my life, man. Story of my life.
Hey.
We do post the records. We post the updated records after every card on our socials, on Instagram mostly. We're the most active on Instagram. We're building our TikTok page back up. So make sure you guys are following and subscribed on everything. We're everywhere that you want to be, everywhere that American Express is accepted. We are there. So Gene Silva, William Gomez is going to be a close one. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a good 145-pound fight. Tune in to see Matt's predictions on that one. The next one up, I'm going to bite the bullet on. Yeah, I'm gonna bite the bullet on this one for you, Sean. This 155-pound fight, Elvis Brenner versus Mikdebek Oralby. And once again, apologies if that's not anywhere close, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Sean, you are up on this one. Let us know who you got between Brenner and Oralby.
So with Elvis Brenner, he's the underdog plus 200 with a 16-3 record, which is kind of crazy to be 16-3 and being that much of an underdog. He has 3 KOs and 11 submissions. So 14 of his 16 wins are by finish. 5-fight win streak, 3-0 in the UFC. And his last 2 have been by KO TKO. So 3 of his KO TKOs have been his last 2 fights. So he's starting to use his hands way more. And then Oralby, minus 245, pretty heavy favorite. 12-1-1, 6 KOs, 5 submissions. Only 1-0 in the UFC, which is crazy that he's this big of a favorite. 7-fight win streak. But this is where I kind of see now why he's the favorite. His debut was against Euros Medic, which that's no slouch right there. I believe he's on the last fight card too.
Yeah,
Euros Medic. Yeah, to have that as a debut fight, that's a and he won by decision in that fight. So actually no, he won by submission. Sorry, won by submission in that fight. So that's pretty damn good.
That is.
Oralby can do it anywhere. Legitimately, he's one of those fighters that if you go to the ground, he can stop you. You stay on the feet, he can do that too. Brenner, not as much. He's more reliant on the ground, even though his last 2 fights have been by KO, but they've also been against other grapplers recently. So it's the grappler. We're just going to stand. We're not going to waste our energy trying to take each other down. One of us got to finish. So that's where I'm going to favor Oralby getting probably a TKO KO or a ground and pound finish on the ground there. Just because his stand-up is going to be way better. And maybe even get a rear naked choke because you give up the neck after getting your ass whooped. So I'm going to go the favorite, Oralby, getting a finish. I'm going to say second round.
Second round. I like it. Is it, do you feel like, based on what Oralby has done so far, do you feel like these odds, this almost 3-1, you feel like that's justified?
I think it should be a little less. I would like to see more like a minus 180 plus 140. So that's how I would do it. But at the same point, that's why Vegas has so much of my money and I don't have any of theirs, because they're making odds and I ain't. So
amen, brother. Like Uncle Joey Diaz says, you never see a book part-time job.
God, Joey Diaz is the greatest.
He
is the greatest.
Fucking Joey Coco, bro. Guys, you to the promised land.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was at a minus 245 and Elvis Brenner at a plus 200. I'm sure that's changed up a little bit since they opened. It's got to.
I think it's minus 225 now, but it's still pretty heavy favorite.
Okay, so we got some people looking to get some long odds on this one
Yeah.
too. Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable. The next one up, women's 115. We have number 13 ranked Karolina Kovalkiewicz. I can never say that one right. It's like Joanna. I don't think I've ever pronounced Joanna's last name correctly, and I absolutely love her. But we'll say Karolina K going up against Yasmin Lucindo. This, for being ranked number 13, Karolina opening at a plus 255, Yasmin at a minus 330. Some crazy long odds on this one. Karolina, one of my all-time favorites. She's just a sweetheart. You can't not love Karolina, and she's done some amazing things. But she's under the gun on this one. She is. she's got some long odds on her on this one. Going to Gage, our in-house women's MMA expert. We're gonna hear what Gage has to say on this one. Let us know if Karolina is justified.
Well, let me tell you why the odds are this crazy, especially since Karolina is coming into this fight on a 5-fight win streak. So, Karolina is sitting at 38 years of age as a 13th ranked fighter. Has fought very well. Most of her wins, yes, by decision, sprinkled in a submission here and there. Yasmin has, since her debut, fought very tough opponents. She had a very strong showing against Polyana in her last fight. She's getting back in there quickly after that fight too. The promotion's really pushing her now after she showed the potential, especially against Polyana, her last fight. It really handled her, and Polyana in herself has a lot of support, and the people trying to push her, and she also fights well, so to go over that wave and outperform her is a sign. So I think they want her to get ranked as quickly as possible, starting at 13 against Karolina, and it's just a terrible matchup for Karolina. It's gonna get outstruck, and I think maybe as good as Karolina's ground game is, it's just not good enough. So I would take over 1.5. Put all the money you got if you want that. I'm gonna go either Yasmin by submission, but I'd put a better chunk in it. I'd go decision. Yasmin by decision.
Is there?
You can sprinkle a submission. You can sprinkle a submission. It's not the worst odds.
Finish under 2.5. I'm sure it'd be some decent money on too. Is there any world, any universe in which Karolina gets this one?
Use your experience. You've been in there doing it for years. You're having great showing in your last fights. Just maintain the pressure in the middle of the cage. Make her circle. Keep the pressure on her. Put her back against the cage. Don't let her try to outpower you. Keep her at a distance. Working on your jab, and what her MO is. If you can't get her a chance to get a submission, just beat the dog shit out of her in points. And Karolina's very good at it.
She's done it. We've seen her do it before. She's very capable. She's capable. But like you said, getting up there in age, it's always tough. We want to go with, the people that we've seen for a long time that have been around and the ones that have won our hearts over. But the smart money is not always with them, unfortunately. But let's hope for Karolina's sake, she'll reserve that. If Yasmin does make this one look easy, do you think she takes number 13 from Karolina? Does beating Karolina get her up into that top 15?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Beautiful. The next up, finishing up the prelims, we got 145 action. Jack Shore versus Joe Anderson Brito. And this one, I think, it's going to be a sick fight. I think this one has potential for fight of the night. I think this is, even though I believe Jack Shore opened as the underdog on this one. Yeah, plus 145 underdog. He's 17-1. He has 4 KO wins, 9 submission wins, and 4 decisions. And he's coming off of a submission win over Amir Khani, which is a solid win. And his last 5, he's 4-1. I think that I think that this one should be a little closer. I think this, Joe Anderson Brito is very tough outing for anybody at any stage. He's 16-3. He's got 7 KOs, 7 submissions, 2 decision wins. He's also coming off of a submission win by ninja choke over Joe Pierce. This one, like I said, for the night potential. I think it's got finish of the night potential. I think that this one it's going to be a sweet fight. It's hard to tell which way this one's going to go, but I don't think either of these guys are going to want to give up an inch. They're both very tough outings for any style. We've got a lot of submission wins on this one, but on the feet, neither of these guys are slouches. Neither of these guys are an easy outing for whether you have a striking preference or a ground preference. This one, I think if it goes long enough, it's going to be fight of the night. If it doesn't, I think it's someone in this fight is getting a performance bonus one way or another. As difficult as it is, I think I'm taking Jack Shore on this one. I like the way he moves. I like his style. He's got the backing. I think he's Welsh, whatever Welsh is. I don't think it's a country. Wherever the Welsh are from, I think he's gonna have the support.
UK.
Yeah, and they're making. I mean, they had Bisping, they had Hardy. Now they have Aspinall. Now they have Leon Edwards. That resurgence, that rise over there is big, and they're going to be going over there for Manchester. I know they would love to have a full card of all just contenders and big names, and Jack Shore is just one of those guys, man. One of those guys. I feel like he's going to make a run. I feel like he's going to do some big things, maybe hit a snag here and there. Against Joe Anderson Brito, he's also 4-1 in his last 5. Also coming off of a submission win, also has double-digit finishes. It's going to be a sick fight. I feel like Jack Shore is going to get it. I'm going with Jack Shore. I'm going to go by Jack Shore by submission. Safe bet under 2.5. I'm hoping this one makes it past the first and second round so that it can be fight of the night too. Because I think the longer that this one goes, just the more of a show that we're in for as fans. But official pick, I'm going Jack Shore by submission. Rounding out the prelims with that, we move on to the main card. First one on the main card is deferred to our man, Matt Talks MMA. Once again, make sure you're following. It is a middleweight bout. Number 13, Paul Craig versus number 14, Caio Baralho. Boa Carayo. That is a damn good match. A damn good matchup. We've been looking for these. We've been looking at these middleweights from 10 to 15. It feels like all year so far in 2024. Yep. It's just it's firecrackers all throughout the end of that division, and the upper rankings of middleweight is not slouching, is not slacking at all, but those guys just battling for the 15 ranks, trying to crack their way into the top 10. They've been putting on some shows. They've been putting on some fights lately, man. And Paul Craig and Caio Baralho, I don't see this going any different. We got Paul Craig at plus 300, which is quite interesting. You do not see that very often. Sean, is there anything that you would like to throw in without giving away too much? Anything you would like to throw for the people watching about Paul Craig and Caio Baralho?
Oh, give me a second, my dog.
Gage, while we got him muted, is there anything you want to throw down on Craig and Baralho?
If you see Paul Craig at plus 300, it's always worth a good Paul Craig knockout sprinkle.
Right.
It's always worth it, I think. Sean said it earlier. The names Paul Craig has just put out randomly when he shouldn't have won. It's crazy. It's a long list. But it's, if you want to play safe, which if you're in the parlay world, you gotta have one that's gonna make you the money, and it's safe to say Paul Craig would be the dog of the night for us. At least I think so.
Yeah, if anybody is gonna cover at a plus 300, I'm very happy with it riding on Paul Craig's shoulders. Sean, what would you like to add?
I'm most excited for when they do a face-off and he's going full on Braveheart, the full fucking blue side, screaming freedom in his face. I'm in. Like doing that in Brazil on top of that, where he's going to get his ass booed out of the place and get cursed at, is going to be phenomenal. That's what I'm looking forward to. Just seeing how the Scottish man works out in Brazil. That's just not a good combo. But the fight, I'm excited to see it. It's like we were saying this whole year, we've been talking about the bottom 5 of the 15 in the middleweight division. And I feel like in a year from now, we'll be talking about a lot of these guys up in the top 6 and 7, because some of those guys will retire. Maybe they'll fall down. I can see them mixing. You can see both these guys shooting up the ladder regardless of what happens this Saturday. Absolutely. These guys are never very rarely do they even have a boring minute of a fight, let alone a boring fight altogether. All of these matchups for middleweight, people trying to make that push for the top 10 is just, they're bangers, man. They're bangers, and you got to tune into these. Sean, I'm going to keep it with you for the middleweights for the next matchup. We have a short notice replacement on this one. Michel Pereira versus Ihor Potieria. The odds on this one are long. Potieria was, I believe, I can't pronounce the last name, Shara Bullet is what he goes by. But Potieria was originally on the first UFC Saudi Arabia card against Shara Bullet. Michel Pereira's opponent dropped out, and Potieria decided to step in and get this one in as sooner rather than later. Personally, I don't know, going from a free Saudi card that's going to be free on ABC to a numbered pay-per-view is understandable in most cases, but also that Saudi Arabia card that they're putting together, it might as well be a pay-per-view. So it's an interesting decision. Maybe he's looking to, rack up a win in the meantime, and then still try to take out Shara Bullet on that one. Sean, make it make sense on this short notice fight between Michel Pereira and Ihor Potieria. Yeah. First, I want to add on to your thing about the Saudi Arabia card. I don't think it's even a hot take to say that Saudi Arabia card is better than UFC 301. Like, that card is disgusting already.
That's why I was wondering, why would you jump off of that to go to this?
That money talks. I bet you Dana said, hey, want to jump over here? More money. Ta-da.
Yeah, when Uncle Dana calls you, you pick up, huh?
Yeah. And usually there's a band or two coming your way too. So
Very
you got to say yes. Yes, Mr. Uncle Dana. So back to the fight. Michel Pereira, 30-11, 11 KOs, 8 submissions, 7-fight win streak, which That's crazy. I remember when he was going win loss, and now he's just ripped off 7. It's only been in 3 years, so good for him. Portiera, 21-5, great record, but 10 KOs, 6 submissions. This is where it gets weird. Lost 3 of his last 5 fights, and 4 of those last 5 fights have been KOs. He's KO'd 1 person, and he's been KO'd 3 times in the last 5 fights. All 3 of those losses were by KO. Even though it's going to be a year and 5 months since the last time he's been KO'd, so that's not too bad. So usually that means your chin gets a rest, but Michel Pereira has different power than a lot of people, and that's what I see immediately is what Michel Pereira does in there, how he moves. It's so much different, and you're taking this on short notice. The odds are this big for a reason. Michel Pereira is no joke. I feel like this will be a very easy night in the office. Minus 500. This is one of those times I'm willing to put $500 down on the account just to win $100. This is going to be Michel Pereira, first round KO, TKO, easy work.
And Ihor in his last one, I like the way he looked. He looked good. There were, if I recall correctly, there were moments when he was getting landed on. He took some hard shots that may or may not have wobbled him a little bit, but it didn't deter him from moving forward. It didn't deter him from sticking to the game plan, keeping the pressure on. And he looked good, but nobody looked better than Michel Pereira in his last fight. His last fight was, I mean, we all knew that it was going to be quick. We all knew that it was going to be a Pereira finish. We did not see it going quite that quick with the submission. I believe our collective pick was a first round KO, but a 1 minute submission is just there on 299 also on one of those cards. Just a banger and very hard to compete for.
And it was let up by you. It was because of a body shot too. He hit him to the body and then he crushed down, and then once again, like I said earlier, sometimes the submission will happen when you're just whooping someone's ass. They give up the neck and be like, yo, just choke me out. I'll tap. Just don't hit me. So it's one of those cases. That's how he got that submission. Guy's like, I'm done getting hit. Please grab my neck.
He is just incredible. He's crazy, man. Just looking at what he's done since he came in, backflipping off the cage, all kinds of, I was lucky enough to bet against him in the fight. That was, I forget, it was the short notice Canadian guy. I can't remember exactly what his name was. I remember his nickname. Connolly. Yeah, Tristan Connolly. That one was, I bet against Michel Pereira on that one. And I haven't bet against him since because he's just crazy. You can't ever confidently bet against someone who's a psychopath like that, who's just willing to go anywhere and do anything. He can change things up in the blink of an eye. But that'll be an exciting one. Is that, Sean, do you think that one is in the running for fight of the night if it doesn't get a finish?
If it doesn't, yeah, but it's going to be a finish. I'm not going to, I'm going to say the fight you just said before, the Jack Shore versus Brito, that's another one I think will be a first round, maybe even second round. But if it does go 3, that I think is a pretty damn good running for fight of the night. But this one, I just can't see it getting out of the first round. Michel's just looking so damn good right now. The 7-fight win streak. It's and it's not against slouches. He's never fought slouches in his whole UFC career. He's been fighting guys the whole time. So
right, dude is crazy.
But what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I'm not going to get myself on another short here. I remember it's not happening.
We've all been there. That's
dirty on that one.
So official pick is Pereira on that one, and then going right into the next one, the 205ers We got number 10, Anthony Smith versus number 15, Vitor Petrino. Some more long odds for my boy Gage on this one, man. Gage, let us know, how is number 10 versus 15 going to work out?
I mean, let me readjust for this. Why is Anthony Smith still fighting in the UFC? Like he's already segued to the next stage of his career, analyzing fights.
I can't say if they weren't offering, if I was doing this and they were like, hey, by the way, do you also want to fight? I can't say that I would say no. So, I mean, I understand if they're giving it to him.
Also, not bad as can't speak. As an analyst, he's not bad either.
Right.
And he has clearly a lot of fight experience. He hasn't, doesn't have the CT ESPN like Antonio Brown, and is like, the dude is 35. Save your head, man. Why do you need it? You're number 13 now. You're not going back, man. You're not Glover Teixeira. Johnny Walker made you lose your mind in the ring for whatever that was. We've talked about that plenty of times. If you make a funnier statement than Johnny Walker in the ring, something's not right. And then we've all seen the Khalil Roundtree just absolutely.
Oh God! I watched it in slow mo, like hundreds.
Stumbled Anthony Smith bad, and Khalil had this hammer fist from like 7 stories up, waiting to come down, and he just held it until the referee stopped it. Because if that hammer fist lands, nothing good comes of that. Man, he got mercy killed by Khalil Roundtree. I would hope this is Anthony Smith's last fight. Just you've fought so many fights. What more do you have? Like, what more does he have on his to-do list as a UFC fighter?
I mean, you could, of course, if you ask him, they're all just gonna say championship.
Yeah.
But,
all right, Anthony Smith, you're 35. You're sitting some of your time on the side of the octagon with a mic on your head, and you got KO'd twice out of your last 3, and the Ryan Spann fight wasn't a great fight to watch either way. Like, cool, if you make a real comeback and really put out a show, I'm not no one's gonna be mad about it. We all want to see him do well, but he's gonna get Shadow Realm KO'd in this under 1.5.
It's gonna be difficult.
Because Petrino has. I was looking at this. I don't know if Google's fucking with me or not. He's made his UFC debut March 11th of last year. This will be his 6th fight in a little over a year, and he's won every single one of them, and convincingly won every single one of them.
Yeah.
I don't think it stops. I don't think Anthony Smith, yes, is his biggest test, but it's not Anthony Smith that's top 5.
Yeah,
really
this isn't fighting John Jones for the title, Anthony Smith.
Yeah. No, he slowed down drastically.
Mm-hmm.
He just takes too much punishment. He just has
to him for sticking in there.
He's just had too many miles on him now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, we respect it. We love those fighters to just not long for the game.
It does. It's a young man's sport. Absolutely, it's a young man's sport.
There's always outliers like Glover Teixeira, Jim fucking Miller. Let me get that right. And Bobby Green too. Like, those are just very outlier dudes. But those fighters don't make a habit out of fighting till their late 30s.
For a reason.
Unless they have something to fight for.
Yeah. And I don't see, even if Anthony Smith was to get you could even give him a first minute knockout on this one. I don't see it putting him anywhere near title contention, even so. So,
I don't know. I don't know if it breaks the top 10 for him. I really don't.
Right, exactly.
Light heavyweight is so packed. You got Pereira, you got Yuri, you got Jamal, you got Khalil Roundtree up there now. Like, where do you fit in Anthony Smith? Where do you fit in those absolute killers up at the top? I mean, Jan Blachowicz still up there. Like, just packed.
There are some good fights for him still on the table. I think that there's still, there's still things that he can do, but not things that he has to do. There isn't too much more that he has to do. He's done it all. He's done it all. There's not a whole lot left for him to accomplish other than the belt, of course. But I mean, that's, past a certain point, I say it all the time, like past a certain point, your record doesn't matter. What you like, how many belts you won, that doesn't matter, dude. Anthony Lionheart Smith, he's a G.
This will be his 57th professional fight. 57.
That's crazy. That is insane.
His record going into it is 37-19.
That is insane, man. Like that, yeah. You said it. There's nothing left for him to do. There's nothing left for him to do.
He's still 35 too, which is nuts. He just put so much mileage on his body already.
I can't even imagine. I'm 35, dude. I can't imagine having fought fucking 50 some odd times and still fighting in the UFC against an 11-0 26-year-old. Fuck me.
And how many killers has he fought in a row? Like 15 killers in a row? Like, he hasn't had a fight in a while. Everyone he's fought have been killers. Like, Jesus Christ, what he's doing to his body.
Even just going from Khalil Roundtree to Vitor Petrino is...
Yeah, that's disgusting. That's horrible.
That's a horrible motherfucker. Yeah. Vitor Petrino, Roundtree, Span, Walker, Ankalaev, Span again.
He's had a really rough 4 years, Anthony. It's like really rough.
Is this going to be our lock of the night by any chance? Because this is a UFC pay-per-view. So lock of the night, are we all agreeing on this one?
I'm gonna say no.
No?
Personally, no.
Lock of the night.
Yeah.
Michelle Pereira?
I don't want to say...
Michelle Pereira, so Michelle's, because it isn't a main card. So Michelle Pereira, lock of the night.
Easy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then we got to think of underdog too, which I have one in mind. I'm pretty sure we all kind of know which one mine is.
I definitely I can't confidently say Anthony Smith because I know that he's just one of those guys that, something's going to happen. It's going to be a fucking eye poke or a groin shot or something crazy. If I confidently pick against him, something crazy is going to happen. And Anthony Smith, you can't ever count him out. Pereira, I like Pereira as a lock. And where are we at? We just have the co-main and the main left.
Yeah.
So those. Do you guys have your underdog lock already?
We're just doing main card, right? For that, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I would probably say it'd be Jose Aldo, but that would be. I know that's a really tough fight too. Like, I fully understand if anyone picks Jonathan Martinez in this fight. Fully understand, but it's plus 100, so he is technically an underdog. So that would be my only. We can do Paul Craig, but I mean that is a tough underdog to pick right there because
I would go Jose dog in the night.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
Doesn't mean we actually have to pick it. Like, if you guys still want to go with Jonathan, that's totally fine. It's just we got to toss one underdog in there.
And there's those were opening odds. There's some of them that have it at a pick 'em right now too. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. Hop on it as soon as you can. Let's see what William Hill has to say about it. But that is where we're going next. So let's get on into it. We got 135 co-main event, number 13, Jonathan Martinez versus the returning King of Rio, Jose Aldo Jr. And we could break this down. We could look at logic all day long. We can go through stats. We can go through records. We can go through any which way that you want to. I'm picking Jose Aldo. That's just how it's going. I'm never not picking Jose Aldo. He's one of those guys that he was never like, I don't know how you guys feel about him, but he was never like my favorite fighter or anything. But he's one of those guys like Bisping, RDA, just one of those guys that's been around so long he grows on you, and you can't not love him. You can't not love him. He's coming back from it was boxing. I think I'm pretty sure his last competition was the boxing event against Jeremy Stevens, I believe. But he is open at one. Jose Aldo right now is a -105. So still technically an underdog.
Yeah.
Still technically an underdog. To make it official and go through the stats, Jonathan Martinez is 19-4. He's got 9 KO wins, 2 submission wins, 8 decisions, coming off of a TKO win via leg kicks over Adrian Yanez. That was bananas. I never would have saw that coming. That lost me so much money on that. He's 5-0.
6-fight win straight.
Yeah, 5-0 in his last 5, six-fight win streak against Jose Aldo, 31-8, 17 KOs, 1 submission win, 13 decision wins. His last competition in the UFC was a decision loss to Merab. Who doesn't lose a decision to Merab, though? 3-2 in his last 5. It's, like I said, doesn't matter how we dice it. I'm going Jose Aldo on this one. What do you guys got? Sean, let's go with you.
I even told Gage before he even showed up in the thing before. I said Jose Aldo could be fighting Francis Ngannou. I'm going to be picking Jose Aldo. That's one of my dudes. I've always loved him. I actually was one of the few people that was rooting for him against Conor McGregor all the way back then. I always have loved Jose Aldo. Seeing him come back, I'm like, this is his 40th fight, 40th on the dot, and it's crazy that his 40th fight. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt for many years, 1 submission.
Right.
That's the craziest stat of his career that I thought. I'm just like, no, he's had to get more than that. And I'm thinking, like, I haven't seen him get a submission. I'm like,
I don't
shit.
even remember what the one.
I don't know what it was, but I'm like, fuck, yeah, I guess he hasn't. He was the first guy with the leg kicks. He was the original leg kick phenom. People forget.
I still have Uriah Faber's fucked up leg burned in my brain. Every time I think about Jose Aldo, I see that leg.
That was insane. So I'm gonna go Jose Aldo, but Jose Aldo needs to make this more of a kickboxing Muay Thai fight instead of a boxing match. If this is a boxing match, Jonathan Martinez will piece you up. He's phenomenal boxer at this weight class, and he's, as you said, the last fight he brought in the leg kicks and did incredible. I think Jose Aldo, way more experience in the leg game. I don't think that's going to be as much of a factor in this one. He's going to check him. He's going to go deliver him back. I would like to see Jose Aldo try to make it more of a Muay Thai style fight instead of a kickboxing fight or even a boxing fight. And that's the way he would get a victory. And I could see this being fight at night. I understand he's older, hasn't fought in a while, but man, look at him. He's always been in phenomenal shape. Even against Merab, he was standing there at the end of the 3rd round, okay. He was just holding me up against the cage, man. He was patting him on the butt and doing like this, being going like this. And he still has it. He stopped because he knew he wasn't going to be fighting for a championship, but he's already said, I'm going to take this fight and see how I do, how I feel afterwards. This is a young stud. I'm going Jose Aldo by decision. It will be a war. Jonathan Martinez can definitely win with his boxing too. So I would not be surprised if Jose Aldo, unfortunately, goes out looking at the lights.
It's tough. We do have to cover it. It is tough.
Mhm.
He's one of those guys. He's been around for so long. We've got a few of them on this card already, just getting thrown to the wolves, making a name off them with a young up and comer. It is going to be sweet to see, the king of the leg kicks versus someone coming in fresh off of a leg kick KO over another highly touted prospect. Adrian Yanez I was pretty certain Yanez had that in the bag. So that was a phenomenal one. And then let's round it out with the main event, gentlemen. We got the 125-pound title on the line.
Damn, I don't get the pick. That's crazy. That's crazy, Drew.
Didn't you pick Aldo too?
No.
My bad. Go ahead, Gage.
I'm gonna make this very clear before I pick. I want Jose Aldo to win. In my heart, I want Jose Aldo to win. In Brazil, yes, I want a riot to happen. Jonathan Martinez looked very, very good against Adrian Yanez, and a lot of people counted him out, and he dominated that fight. And he didn't do anything outside of Adrian Yanez's bread basket too, which was boxing, because Adrian Yanez was hyped up as like, oh, the Beck's new up and coming boxer. He's piecing people up, and then got absolutely eaten by Jonathan Martinez. I love Jose Aldo. He is. A lot of people have him as the GOAT.
He's still my 25 GOAT for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people still have him the GOAT, and it's a reasonable argument. Like, dude was the best for a long time. I don't know what he's been doing the last 2 years, what he's been doing training wise, mentally. That got to this point where he wanted to do one more in Brazil. I'm sure he's in great shape because he's never had any issues with a gas tank, and he hasn't been out of the fight game for that long. He's just fighting someone younger, more powerful, and has incorporated a lot of Jose's game in his own game. So I think Jose needs to be smart about it. He has a very good chance of winning it on the cards if it gets there. But if he tries to really put on a show in Brazil, I think Jonathan Martinez stops the show very quickly. So I would go over 1.5. Jose Aldo gets down the cards, tries to make something happen, gets knocked out by Jonathan Martinez in Brazil.
Man, that is gonna hurt. That is gonna hurt to see. I really hope that we don't see that too. But like you said, Martinez is on fire right now. On fire. That Yanez win was fantastic. I don't know. I can't remember what the odds were, but like I said, I was pretty certain that Yanez had that one in the bag. So that was a very impressive win. Gage, is Aldo still your dog pick of the week though?
I mean, technically he's a dog, and Jose Aldo can win any fight. Jose Aldo fights him. Like, what? Hey, if you want a little more benefit to have the dog in the night, I'd look at Paul Craig. But if you want a lock, like the dog of the week, it's Jose Aldo.
Facts. Paul Craig that's stupid money, man. That is stupid. I don't remember the last time we saw Paul Craig at anything near a 3-1 underdog. So that's very difficult to pass up on. And now, rounding it out with the 125-pound championship, we have Alexandre Pantoja versus number 10, Steve Erceg. Minus 260 and a plus 210. The division is pretty well bound up, and I think that's probably the main reason that Steve Erceg is getting put in this, other than he's getting that UFC push. Pantoja is 27-5, 8 KO wins, 10 submission wins, 9 decision wins, coming off of a decision win and title defense over Brandon Royval. 5-0 in his last 5-fight win streak against Steve Erceg, who's 12-1, 2 KO wins, 6 submission wins, 4 decision wins, coming off of a KO win over Matt Schnell. Tough win, good solid win on that one. Don't know if it's worthy of a title shot off that, but here we are. He's also 5-0 in his last fight, and he is on an 11-fight win streak. So he does have that going for him. Let's start it with Gage on this one. I keep saving Gage for last. I'll let Gage go first on this one, brother. Who do you got? You got Pantoja, or is Erceg going to get the upset?
How do I put this nicely? Steve Erceg has fought fucking nobody. Why is he here? In the words of Conor McGregor, who the fuck is that guy? Like, he's number 10. Why is he there? Why is Amir Albazi not fighting?
Seriously.
Like shit, I'd look at Kai Kara France. Like, Kai's important a year. Unless something seriously wrong with Kai, I'm pretty sure he'd be available for a title shot.
Yeah. I saw a graphic where it was like the top 10 and what they all got going on. Most of them are coming off of losses. Nicolau and Perez are already matched up for the card previous to this one. So I guess it makes sense, with Erceg.
No, it doesn't, because Amir Albazi has not fought since last year.
Yeah.
There's no making sense of this. I think, no offense to Steve Erceg, he has done very well in the UFC since getting in there. He just hasn't fucking fought anybody. Like, he fought Matt Schnell, who was ranked 11, I think, when they fought. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the Brazilian to win in Brazil. And this is a lot of, connect the dots of who could fight who. But if you want to make it a good fight, and I think Pantoja would still beat Amir, if I'm really going to be honest. And it would just be a way better fight. Like, I'm not trying to shit talk Steve. He's just... for your 4th fight in the UFC, you're not Alex Pereira. Like, you're not putting people in body bags. Right. So I'm going Alexander here by one of Sean's favorite picks. What's it called? I saw it on DraftKings the other day. Murder. Yeah, that's the one.
Yep,
that's what I'm looking for.
Oh man,
that's got to be the favored method of victory as well.
Oh.
Sean, how we going?
It's tough to go by the finish here, just for the factor of they're both very good grapplers. As much as Steve hasn't fought anyone, his game is grappling. Yes, he got a KO, but once again, he got a KO against someone else that is another grappler. So that's how grapplers get KOs for the most part, when 2 grapplers stand up for 3 to 5 rounds. So it will be a fun fight if you're big into grappling. Like, some people, they hate it. They just can't stand it. But I enjoy a good grappling fight. That's what this should be. I do think Pantoja is going to be winning most of those little grappling sessions, and I'm going to say Pantoja is going to win by decision. I'm going to say 4-1. I do think Steve can get a round maybe if he does get the control time, but I don't think Pantoja is going to be in trouble at all this fight. I do agree with Gage saying, like, it is in Brazil. You look at last year, what happened in Brazil with it was actually in January, Jamal Hill beating Glover Teixeira. Look what happened to the crowd. There was no crowd. They all left before he even said, don't throw stuff at Jamal Hill. And then the fight before was Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. And Brandon Moreno won, and they were throwing shit at him. So they're basically trying to prevent that from happening here. it really does look like that. It looks like, hey, Pantoja, we're giving you a layup. My big thing with that is I hope for UFC 304 Manchester, they don't do the same thing and just make Leon Edwards fight some random bum at number 9 instead of fighting Bilal or Shavkat, something like that. So, but yeah, I'm going to say decision, but I do agree this should be a very dominant performance. I would not be surprised if Pantoja gets the finish.
No surprise at all. I'm going with Pantoja. I'm going, if it's not a unanimous decision, he's going to get a late KO submission, some kind of late finish. His pressure is just going to, end up being too much. Erceg's first title fight, his he's being pushed really fast. Lucked up into this title fight. The circumstances fell in his favor, and can't blame him for it. If somebody offers you a title fight, you take it. Like you guys said earlier, Uncle Dana comes calling, you got to answer. And give it to Pantoja. Pantoja is just taking on whoever they're putting in front of him. He's got they're throwing rematches at him. Now they're throwing number 10 at him. He's just going with the flow, doing what champions do. He's not calling for a champ fight. He's not calling for a three division champion or anything. He's just clearing out his division, and I gotta respect that. I'm also going Pantoja. I'm going over 2.5, and like I said, if it's not a finish late, it's going to be a unanimous decision for Pantoja. So we are unanimous on that one. I have the lock of the week for 301 is going to be Michel Pereira. Everybody in favor of that one?
Yeah.
And the dog, we are going with Jose Aldo Jr. If you guys are going to get him at dog odds, you got to get him quick because, it's in Rio. They're definitely going to throw some late money on Jose Aldo in Brazil. So get him while the getting is good. But that is going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been the UFC 301 Picks and Predictions episode. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the House Call Sports, the Fight Pit, and High Fight IQ on YouTube. And make sure you guys follow the House Call Sports and the official Fight Pit on Instagram. You can get all of our Instagram tags on there. We are all on that page. You can follow all of us, get all of our picks. We will be posting the updated records this week. So you guys be on the lookout for that. And thank you to everybody on YouTube and Twitch for tuning in and watching us live as well. We will see you guys.
Drew's face live.
Yeah, we're going live everywhere, folks. You're gonna get used to seeing us because we ain't going nowhere. The 301 episode is a wrap. Thank you, everybody, gentlemen. Gage,
Yeah, that's that way.
There we go. Always gets me. And your boy Drew. We will see you guys on the next one back here every week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace.